Well, you gotta give credit where credit is due. The spinmeisters of Fox News are already generating increased ratings by abhorring the terrible breakdown, the absolute savagery of former President Clinton taking on their darling of the media. Yesterday's show, the interview with President Clinton by, damn man, his name slips my mind as I'm sitting here talking, but the interview, which turned aggressive when they attempted to put in the usual spin. The deal cut was, Clinton was to come on the show with the provision that out of 20 minutes, the first 10 would be, or 15 minutes, the first 7.5 would be about the Clinton Initiative program and how much money they'd raised for what kind of programs around the world to try and solve various problems. And then the rest of the show would be open questions by Chris Wallace. That's who I'm trying to think of. Well, Wallace led with some folks say that you didn't do enough to get Osama bin Laden question, at which point Clinton jumped right into his scene. He accused him of setting up the Fox News agenda, of attempting to put forth a false story. He detailed, in spite of Wallace not wanting to hear it, all of the specific actions that he had taken to attempt to get Osama bin Laden and kill him, and pointed out that the actions and the policy toward Osama bin Laden, which he left in place when he left office, were immediately dismissed, and a three-president terrorist expert, Mr. Clark, was demoted and sent on his way. Now, that also happened to Paul O'Neill, by the way, the ex-FBI man who was in charge of anti-terrorism and was killed in the 9/11 attack. The same thing has been done by the right-wing spinmeisters trying to blame, well, Clinton didn't get Osama bin Laden. Clinton straightened it out. He gave more than he was asked, and in spite of Wallace's trying to shut down the discussion, he got all the details in specifically, including the fact that the Bush administration had done nothing for 9 months, while the Clinton administration for several years had made every effort to get Osama bin Laden. That and the whole question of the truth, the actual details of what really happened, are available to the public, but they are generally not given. And Clinton's point that the question of what have you done to get Osama that was being posed to him never seems to get posed to anybody in the Bush administration. How come they didn't do this, or how come they didn't get that? So the question once again evolves on the media going ape over, my God, he struck back. He actually leaned forward and poked his finger at Chris Wallace, who was totally intimidated. It's an interesting interview to watch. The focus is on the behavior and the anger as opposed to the content, which is the same thing that we did when Chavez called Bush the devil, when Ahmadinejad called the American empire a crumbling facade. I'm sorry, folks, but the truth is the truth. And focusing on whether somebody's face is red when they say it is avoiding the question. That's enough news for now. I'm Travus T. Hipp, on the PIC, on the radio. None of the foregoing commentaries and opinions have in any way reflected reality as perceived by this station, its management, owners, sponsors, or staff, but are solely the responsibility of myself and Cabal News Services.